Something is brewing in Cleveland. It's not whispers, it's not rumors, it's not just the usual OTA buzz. This is different. It's tangible. This is what every Browns fan has been waiting to feel. Hope based on performance, not promises. Because what happened in the last few days at Browns OTAs could be just the beginning of something much bigger than we expected. But first, be sure to hit that like button to stay informed. Let's start where all eyes were on Shedeur Sanders. Yes, that's Shedeur Sanders. Some said he had arm talent. Others said he had pedigree. But here in Berea, he's showing that he has the it factor. According to reports from Sports Illustrated, it's not just that he's adapting. He's transforming. His mechanics are sharper, his spiral is cleaner, and his decision-making is sharper. Just a month into OTAs and his name is already on the rise, not as a formality but as a force. Kevin Stefanski reportedly gave all quarterbacks an even share of reps, but those watching closely saw the difference. Sanders wasn't just another arm in the rotation. He stood out. When the dust settled on the stat sheets from practice, there was one name that kept coming up at the top, Shedeur Sanders. And let's be clear, this isn't a fan fantasy. This is real. It's happening in real time. Browns fans, we might be watching the emergence of the next face of our franchise. Now, this doesn't mean he's starting week 1. In fact, if we're being honest, and we always are, Joe Flacco still looks like the early favorite. But that doesn't change what Sanders is bringing. Of all the quarterbacks in the room, he's got the highest ceiling. That's not hype, that's just tape and talent. And when you think about where this franchise has been, the carousel, the question marks, the chaos, there's something deeply satisfying about seeing a young QB take charge, even if it's just May. But not everything in Berea was sunshine and spirals. While some players elevated, others vanished. Let's talk about Diontae Johnson. A no-show at OTAs. And look, we get it. These are voluntary. But Johnson's absence hits differently. This isn't a rising rookie or a proven veteran skipping drills. This is a wide receiver who's on his last chance. Let's be real, he's worn out his welcome in locker rooms from Pittsburgh to Houston. He's got talent, no doubt. But when's the last time anyone heard a good headline with Diontae Johnson's name on it? This was his moment to show commitment. To blend into a team culture that's rebuilding its identity. And instead, he ghosted. And the concern isn't just about one practice, it's about perception. A guy on thin ice can't afford to be absent when others are grinding. He's reportedly been seen around the facility, but come mandatory camp, all eyes will be watching. His margin for error is gone. On the other end of the spectrum, the Browns' defensive line. Dominant. Disruptive. Downright scary. Mason Graham, remember the name. From rookie minicamp to OTAs, he's been explosive, and not just by rookie standards. He's looked like someone who's already carving out a role on this defense. And let's not forget Joe Tryon, who brought so much heat he accidentally collided with a quarterback during drills. Was it a little much for OTAs? Maybe. But was it a sign of fire this unit's bringing? Absolutely. This defense is building something. You can feel it in the trenches. If this group stays healthy, and that's always the big if, we could be looking at a top 5 unit in the league. No exaggeration. It's in the personnel. It's in the energy. It's in the intent. They're not just showing up, they're showing out. And now we have to talk about the backfield, because it's not just crowded, it's changing. Jerome Ford entered OTAs as the presumptive RB1. But if you listen closely, you could hear the shift. Quentin Judkins and Dylan Sampson are here, and they didn't come to sit. Judkins looks like a feature back already. The burst, the vision, the confidence, it's all there. And Sampson? He might be the most versatile back we've seen in camp this year. What does that mean for Ford? It could mean the beginning of a transition, or the beginning of a trade conversation. Because the Browns are clearly leaning into youth and explosion at running back, and right now, Judkins looks like the one with the keys to the kingdom. Not by default, by dominance. And just when you thought it couldn't get better, Jerry Jeudy entered the chat. Finally healthy, finally settled, and finally looking like the WR1 we hoped for when he arrived. What makes it even more exciting is his connection with Flacco, who still throws the deep ball like he's got a 28-year-old arm. They've been lighting it up in OTAs, and if Flacco ends up QB1, we could be seeing a downfield duo that brings real fireworks this fall. Now here's where I want you to chime in. Out of all these stories, Shedeur's rise, Johnson's absence, the dominance of the defensive line, the battle in the backfield, and Judy's resurgence, which one is catching your attention the most? Leave a comment below. And while we're talking about chemistry and breakout performances, we've got to circle back to Shedeur Sanders one more time. Because the whispers inside the facility? They're getting louder. This isn't just about mechanics anymore. It's leadership. It's how the guys are responding to him. Multiple reports say that even though he's the youngest QB in the room, he's acting like someone who's been here before. Confident, composed, and most importantly, coachable. And let's talk about Kevin Stefanski for a moment. The head coach has taken some hits over the years, but if you're watching what he's building now, it's clear he's not just trying to survive, he's trying to evolve. The way he's rotating the quarterback reps evenly? That's not indecision, that's a challenge. He's pushing all of them to rise. And Shedeur seems to be answering. But the truth is, even with all this OTA hype, the Browns are walking a razor's edge. One injury, one locker room blow-up, one setback could turn momentum into mayhem. That's why stories like Deontay Johnson's absence feel so much heavier than just a missed practice. It's not about drills, it's about the message. And that message, if you're not locked in, you're out. This team doesn't have room for passengers. Meanwhile, other players are quietly stacking good days. Dillon Gabriel, the other rookie QB, might not be lighting it up like Sanders, but he's not disappearing either. And if we've learned anything about quarterback rooms in the NFL, it's that depth matters. One injury changes everything. And for the Browns, having two young QBs hungry to climb the depth chart could be their most underrated strength this year. And let's not overlook that OTA attendance list. Yes, it was voluntary. But the names missing, Myles Garrett, Greg Newsome, David Njoku, those are leaders. Veterans. And while no one's panicking, and Stefanski certainly isn't, the absence of those voices does leave a vacuum. The next phase, mandatory camp, is where accountability will meet opportunity. Because here's the bottom line, this team is changing. Not on paper. On the field. And if you're not watching closely, you might miss the start of something that could define the Browns for the next 5 years. So now it's your turn. We've broken down the OTA standouts, the concerns, and the quiet battles that are brewing in Berea. What do you think is the biggest storyline to watch heading into mandatory camp? Is it Shedeur's rise? The shakeup at running back? The chemistry between Flacco and Judy? Or maybe something else entirely? Leave a comment, give me your boldest prediction for the Browns, and if you haven't already, like this video and hit that subscribe button. Go Browns!